What's going on, guys? My name is Jordan, my flippin' life, and today I'm gonna show you how to turn crappy eBay Halloween props into something just a little bit better, because we all know eBay quality is absolutely horrible. I know this going into buying these. They're coming from China. I expect super low quality. But the one I received, I actually mailed the seller, and I was like, dude, I was expecting this to be cheap, but I wasn't expecting it to be falling apart. And all I did was bought a stuffed prop that looks like it's severed and skinned. It was like $30. So I was expecting it to be super cheap quality anyway. But when I received it, like, the arm was falling off, and there was like a big rip in the gut, which I'll show you. But so going into this, I was like, okay, I know it's going to be cheap. I know it's going to be a little crappy, but yeah, I wasn't expecting it to be completely falling apart. So I'm going to show you what I did and how to make it just a little bit cooler so that you can use it for your Halloween haunt next year. Okay, so I purchased this guy on eBay. He was about $28 free shipping. It does look really cool from like a distance. It's definitely not like movie quality by any means. I mean, it's like it's pieced together. It'd been cooler if it was like one piece. But I have a really cool one coming. But this guy is definitely not it. But when I pulled it out of the box, the whole arm is not even attached. Like, look, like it's completely not attached. This one's good. It's all glued, and however they sealed that on there. But this one, not so much. Like, it's only held on by this side right here. This side right here is actually good. But so I emailed them about that. And then, like, it had a big hole here. And then on the back, it has two big holes. Like, definitely you can fit your hand in there. It's not glued all the way around. Then over here was another big hole. So I emailed the seller, and I was like, you know, hey man, I knew this was going to be cheap, but I wasn't expecting it to be falling apart when I pulled it out of the box. So I'm still waiting on a response from them. They got to send it to higher ups to figure out what to do, what the next step is. So what I did in the meantime was take all of this stuffing out, because what I did last time with this guy, which I have a video on him as well, I put like 3 cans of spray foam inside that guy, and it reacted with this stuffing, and it all turned to mush. So I took all of it out, and I put packing paper in there, because I know paper and foam, it's okay. But that stuffing and foam, I learned that doesn't work. So don't do that. So all I did was I pulled all the stuffing out, and I just finished putting all that packing paper. I probably got 5 or 6 sheets stuffed in his head, so his head's nice and full. So, I mean, his face is all full, so it's good. So what I'm going to do next, I gotta figure out what to do with that hand. Probably hot glue it. But I'm gonna start stuffing paper in his arms and in his upper body, and then I'm gonna fill the rest with spray foam. And then I'm actually gonna like hang him from my ladder, so he's like the way he's supposed to be when you're using him as a prop, and like his back doesn't get flat. If I do it like this, it's just gonna be, it'll be blown up here in the chest, but his back's gonna be completely flat. And I want his back to actually have some tone to it, so it looks a little bit better. So let's do that. So we have his head really stuffed up into his neck here. Got his arms all stuffed full of the packing paper. Same with this one. It's got some pretty nice shape. You can see like his biceps and everything pretty good. Now I'm gonna put a little bit of paper in here and then just start filling them with the spray foam. And we'll see what happens after a little while. But he did take some pretty good shape. It looks pretty good hanging from here. Let's do it. Now I do know this is not gonna look like movie quality. This isn't gonna look amazing. I know it's still gonna look like a cheap prop, but it's not gonna look cheaply stuffed. Like this guy had like no tone to him. Like he just had a little bit of stuffing in him that I showed you that was on the floor. And it didn't really do it justice. So once I fill him all up with foam and fatten him up a little bit, get him more fluffed out, it's going to look a little better. Plus, you know, you can add some spray foam hanging out for like guts and stuff like that, because the guts they have is kind of cheesy. So you can do a lot of cool stuff with this. I'm probably going to do a little bit, probably nothing crazy, but for today, I'm just going to get his body back to the way it should be when you buy it. But like I said, it was only $30. I expected it to be extremely crappy. So you get what you pay for. But hey, it doesn't mean you can't make it cooler. I think I got this guy kind of where I want him before I add the spray foam. I packed him full of a bunch of paper just to really fill up the void. So when the foam sits here, it's kind of got something to work around, and this guy actually holds shape. Because I know sometimes the foam takes a while to get shape, and if you don't have something in there to kind of keep it where it's at, it'll kind of suck back or not do what you want it to do. But what I'm gonna do before I do the foam is I'm gonna put razor blade slits around him so I can insert foam in random spots. And all I'm using is just a regular straight blade razor. You can get it, you know, kind of wherever. Craft stores, auto body stores. Let's get to cutting. So get your razor blade. Like, see, I have like a random little spot here. So I'm just gonna make a cut. Fill this up down here. Just make a little cut. For any of the back stuff, I'll probably just do a little bit of cuts here and there. So you don't need them huge, but kind of poke your razor down in there. And what's nice with all this is when you do all this cutting on him, and if the foam comes out of him, you can always, you know, paint that red to, you know, make it look a little more realistic. But that's it. Now let's add some foam. So the foam I'm using is just Touch in Foam Max Fill. It's like 3 times expanding foam. I picked this up at Dollar General for I believe like $3.95, $4, something like that. I got 2 cans. Try to remember where you put all your little razor slits, and you're just gonna stick this nozzle down in there and squirt the foam in. Now let's see if I can remember where I put all of it. First, like I said, I want to hang him up before I get going, so that way it's just like hanging from like up here. This is still filled with stuffing, so I'll just probably wrap wire around that and hang him from this ladder. That way when that foam settles, he just stays the way he is right now. So let's do that. Okay, so all I did here was just wrap a little bit of mechanics wire around the ladder and around that. That's it, just some cheap little craft wire. Now, like I said, try to remember where you put all of your little cuts on him. Like right there's a good one. And all you're gonna do is just stick the nozzle down in there. Getting it into his back. Pretty decent. Where all you cut the guy at. I would also recommend wearing some gloves. This stuff's really sticky and it sucks to get off your hands. Now I'm trying to get it all up here. Rubber, plastic, whatever this, latex, whatever this is. Tuck that back down in there. And just let him hang and let him fill up. Kind of want some more in his jaw, so I'm just going to do a little cut there. Probably just use up the rest of this can. And his chin. And that's it. We'll just let him sit, let him fill up, see what happens. Okay, so here we are. I let this sit for probably 3 hours. I went and did some other stuff and cleaned up around the yard, get ready for winter. But yeah, he filled up quite nice. It's nice and stiff. Like all this is all filled up real nice. And obviously we'll probably cut this down a little bit here, but it even looks kind of neat, like a big chunk of it rolled down the back, down his head, which kind of looks pretty neat actually. So paint that up, and so now I'm just gonna paint it up, but it filled up really nicely. Even his back has like this nice curve. I think it all worked out. Worked a lot better than the first one I did. But yeah, he looks really cool now. It looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. And then this, you can just paint all that to make it look like guts. Even, I mean, you could even paint that huge chunk there, but that's it. It sat for about 3 hours. I cranked the heater up, got it to about 75 degrees in here, and have just let it sit. And it's nice. Everything's nice and hard. Nothing, I mean, he's pretty solid. It's pretty cool. I'm happy with the outcome. Alright, so I have one coat of paint on the back of this guy. It's looking pretty cool. I'm just using truck paint that I had laying around, and just this little brush from Dollar General. Just dipping it in there and just dabbing it on, kind of brushing it, and then in those cracks. What do they call that? Stipple. It's kind of hard to do, to hold the camera and do it, but that's all I'm doing. Nothing crazy. You can kind of add your own little crazy little effects in here. So that's what I'm going to keep doing, and I'll show you what I got when I do the front side of him. I have not done any of that yet, so I'm going to do that. Well, I did some of this on his face, so you can't really even tell there was a bunch of foam right there. Paint, when it dries, kind of blends in, kind of looks like the red that's already on him, so that looks pretty cool. And I also have some black, so I'm going to go over to this stuff with some black when I'm done, and I'll show you that. Okay, I've been letting this guy sit for probably an hour. All the paint is dry. I kind of added some here on his arms, the back of his head. I got all that colored in. Again, added some on his arms. And have all that colored now. And I just kind of smeared some down his chest, down his side here. And I added a little bit kind of all throughout up here in the guts. And then now I'm going to go through, I got my black paint. Now I'm going to go through and just kind of add a little bit up in here and up through the guts, and just kind of all over, really. Just kind of add some little you know, your gray shades to it. Kind of give it a little more depth so it's not just bright red. So I'm going to do that right now. Okay, so I just took that brush and just kind of did dabs all over the place, just dabbing it. And I don't know. It looks better than just plain old red. Definitely looks a lot cooler than what it did when I pulled it out of the box. I added some black, like up in his neck, and around down here, like on the side of his neck, up into his ear, you know, on the side of his face, and like in his mouth. Just kind of put a little bit of everywhere, in between where his ribs would be, all up underneath there, kind of. Then also up in here. Just kind of added it a little bit of everywhere. Nothing too crazy, but hey, he looks way cooler than what he did when I first started. And that is a fact, Jack. It definitely looks a lot better. There's the front side of him. I just took that black and just kind of dirtied up the red a little bit so the red just didn't stand straight out. But he definitely looks a lot better. I just gotta fix his hand that's still broke. I gotta put some spray foam in there and then attach it. But that'll be a later day. But that is how you can make your cheap eBay Halloween props a heck of a lot cooler than how they come stuffed in a box full of stuffing with a little bit of spray foam, some newspaper, a little bit of paint, and a lot of patience. And you too can have extremely cool props just like this one. I am super excited for this one to be out in the haunt next year. And I'm going to buy a few more and do the same thing to a couple different props and see what happens. Because this guy looks cool. I'm really happy with how he turned out versus what he looked like when it started. I like how the foam kind of bubbled out where he was ripped. Now it really looks like there's some guts and, maybe organs hanging out of him. Definitely looks a lot cooler than what it did out of the box. Because the box, when I pulled it out, I was super disappointed. And it was broke, so that's how you fix your cheap, broken eBay Halloween props. And make them a lot cooler for no money. Little to no money. A $4 can of spray foam, and if you don't have paint laying around, then you probably have to buy some paint. But he definitely looks a lot cooler. I'm happy, and I'm excited to use him next year in my haunt. So, if you liked the video, let me know down below in the comments. So that's gonna conclude my video on how to make your cheap eBay Halloween props a lot cooler than how they show up. Because, like I said, I was super disappointed with that guy when he showed up. And I don't want to go through the hassle of sending it back just because the arm was ripped. Like, I can make this cooler. A little bit of spray foam and some paper and some paint, and it's good as new. I wasn't about to send it back, but maybe they'll give me some money or something. I don't know. I don't really care. But I definitely feel like I made this guy a lot cooler than what he looked like originally, and I'm super happy with it. I'm excited to put it in the haunt. So if you would have done anything different on this fella right here, let me know down below in the comments. My name is Jordan, My Flippin' Life. Give the video a thumbs up, share it with some friends, tickle that subscribe button, and I will catch you on the next video. Thanks for watching.